Hello everyone, welcome to the live session today. Today I am going to discuss with you about the how the graphs can mislead the stakeholder or maybe to you as well. What things you should keep in your mind when you are drawing or visualize your data to your stakeholder and you are going to prepare your dashboards. Okay, sometimes we are so in hurry and we want to make our visualization so beautiful using many different colors or many different of the graphs like the data like the graphs for your dashboards, but we forgot about it. Our goal is, yes, you should show your data visualization graph properly, but the main goal is it should not mislead your stakeholder. It should show the correctly or in a correct form your data, okay, including its proper color scheme, proper your like the type of the graph according to the data set too. Okay, so I am going to share some common like the misleading graphs which the students usually do the mistakes at a beginner level, and I will tell you what important things you should keep in your mind. Okay, so let me share my screen. All right, so now this is I am going to share with you the few like the graphs which you draw according to you. This is the perfect, right? You may think I have used my best like the graph to show the data to the stakeholder, but we forgot or do some mistakes which mislead the information, and it is not giving the proper information to the stakeholder. So let's look at the first graph here. I'm using the matplotlib for this one. So here, this is the misleading graph. Look at this. We have the labels from A to J. Okay. Now there are different sizes. I want to display the like different sizes or distribution of the data based on these given labels. It can be categories. Okay, let's say you have the data set, there are these different or multiple categories you have. Now you want to show the distribution of each category in your data set. You might think, I'm going to use a pie graph. So look at this. So when you use a pie graph in this, and you are showing the size of each category in the form of percentage, it look like this way. So it is showing the different like the market share distribution to the stakeholder, but it's very confusing, right? Because there are so many categories available in our data set. It may mislead or not showing the correct information to your stakeholder. Maybe you're thinking it's fine, I'm showing the slices, right? But I will give you the best solution. Instead of using this, in case you have the many categories, right, and you want to show the distribution of the each category, you can use, instead of pie graph, you should go with the this graph, this one. This is your the bar graph, and bar graph is very popular when your x-axis you have the discrete data type, you have the categorical data. We use this, okay, and this is very popular. In this you can see the difference. Now look at this. So it was looking like this, right? You were showing the each percentage with the different colors, right? Although you can change the color scheme, but your this graph is looking more beautiful. The reason is, the first thing, it is showing in the proper like the shape, number one. And if you want, you can also sort your category based on your values too. So your graph will look more symmetrical too. Okay, and for the stakeholder it is very easy to read for your stakeholder what category has the highest market share. So he can easily answer from here, this is the A. Okay, and the lowest one is your J. Okay, so this is very easy. You can sort it. I did not sort it, but you can also make it one more addition into this. You can sort it based on your the this one the distribution of your each categorical label, and then use the bar graph in case your data set contains many categories and you want to show the you want to show the distribution of each category to your stakeholder. Don't use pie chart. Pie chart is good, enough good when you have a few categories and you want to show the data in the form of percentage. Number two, this is very beneficial when you want to slice out one portion, maybe minimum or the biggest value. Okay, in that case, this will work. But I will never recommend if you have a many categories, then you should go with this one. It doesn't make sense. Okay, so this is the one, the first graph. Now we will move with the second one. Here we will take another example. Okay, so sometime what happened? We want to, like, this is the example of your news channel or marketing materials. Okay, what they use, they often use this trick to make one value seems much larger than the another. How they do? They will just change the value on the y-axis. Okay, by default it should show the proper values, the distribution of the data, but they made changes in this. What will happen in that scenario? Let's say there are two companies, company A, company B, right? You are working in this like the news channel, and your stakeholder is asking you to do this, or maybe you are preparing the dashboard for your stakeholder, right? And in that case, what you did, if you are going to plot this graph. So this is, we are using company's profit color blue and red. And then you limit your y-axis starting from 95 to 115. Okay. You are setting the limit for the y-axis like a company A for company B. So what will happen in that case? Look at this. So the company A, you started with the 95 values and going up to 115 maximum. So company B, this is showing the this graph. Okay. So this is a misleading your stakeholder again. Okay. Because you limit the y-axis value, which is not required at all here. Okay. It happens sometime. This is, I have set the limit, but sometime in your data set, you have some values, right? And some categories, like on the if you have a one category company name and other feature is showing some values based on the company, or maybe there is some product information, right? Or the distribution of the data based on the company, there is a huge difference in the units, right? Or might be like the difference, the number one, there is a huge difference in the units, then also your graph is going to mislead your stakeholder because you did not standardize your units of that feature before showing your visualization. Either what you will do, you will do a trick, you will follow the shortcut, you will limit your unit to make your graph fine. This is not a good idea. Okay, this will mislead your stakeholder. The correct way is either you standardize your that the distribution, if they are in the high units, just standardize the units and then draw the graph, or never ever try to limit your y-axis because it will just change your information. Now look the difference. If you corrected the graph starting with the y-axis at 0 with the proper information, starting with the 0, I'm not starting with from any other number, so it is a, see the difference now. And look at this graph, right? It contains the like the 10%. The small difference looks massive because the y-axis starts at 95 instead of 0. It is showing the big difference. Although if you look at the number, it is the at 100 and it is at a 110, only 10% difference. But look at your graph. If your stakeholder is non-technical, he will not understand this thing, right? He will only look at this. What is this? Right? It's a huge difference. So it will mislead the information to your stakeholder. So this is the common mistake sometimes student does. Now look at this proper graph, right? So it shows the accurate. It will not mislead your stakeholder. So this is the small like the things which may change your or manipulate your data information in the opposite way what we wanted to show. This is the reason it mislead your stakeholder. That's why we always say you need a lot of practice when you are going to show your data visually to your stakeholder. It's very, very important. Okay. And then cherry picking data. Now maybe you wanted to show to your to your stakeholder the, let's say, the revenue of last 3 months, 6 months, right? But what you did, you only picked up, you have a maybe, let's say you have a 10 months data with you, right? But when you sort it, you saw I will only pick up the the top level data where my company has a high revenue, right? But you in your data set you have the 6 months or maybe 8 months or more than that, but you are showing to your stakeholder only the few like the months. Sometime we forgot as well, or sometime we choose intentionally, sometime unintentionally. It happened. You only pick up these months. Okay, so what will happen in that case? This looks okay. Your stakeholder will be very happy. I have a this much growth, right? You're showing the consistent growth, right? Like this, right? It is going up, high revenue in based on the months. But the this graph only like suggests the constant growth. Okay, but maybe you have a more than that, you the data available in your data set. Okay, so what is that? This one, look at this. So there was the data of your these like your 10 to 11 months, right? 9 to sorry 10 months, and there was some like the first in the previous month in the January there was good growth, but after like here March you can say it drop as well, right? Then it again in revenue has increased. So this is the proper information. So if you are not picking up the all months in the to maybe hide some information, or maybe unintentionally you forgot about it when you are fetching the data you wanted to show, you maybe want to show only the growth onto your dashboard, so it will mislead your stakeholder again, because he will never come to know they have some good revenue in January, February too, and then it will drop down, then it again grow. Okay, so this is also the common mistake. Sometimes we show only the partial data, which is not a good the practice when you are building the dashboard. Okay, this is very important. That's why we always say whenever you are exploring your data, explore it properly, understand the feature, understand the relationship between the feature, and then handle the inconsistency, then do your visualization. Even if you do the visualization before missing value handling or after missing value, there you will see the huge difference. Okay, so now we will move ahead with the next one. This is also like the common thing, we does this sometime because we wanted to show everything in a one graph actually. Okay, so what will happen, let's say you have the one company data, right? You can pick up any company sales and social media likes, right? But what you did, you try to show it in a one graph. You don't want to think I will not make a two graphs, I will show in a one graph. So how it look like, look at this. So on the right side it is showing the like, on the left side it is showing the sales. I'm not saying this is a wrong graph, but if your stakeholder is not technical, it may mislead them, right? He will not be able to understand. He will look at the left side first, then he will look at the right side, then, right? So he will try to make the relationship, what is going on, right? Maybe he forgot to look at the sales. He will only look at the this graph, right? It was also it will also be hard for you to explain to the stakeholder too. Okay, this is good for you because you are a technical person, but when you are going to give the the presentation to your stakeholder, they might be non-technical. Maybe there is a team and other team members are there, or other board members are in the company, they are going to look at your dashboard, your presentation, they might not be understand, right? So even then they will maybe start comparing, if there are this much sales, why there are only 600 likes, right? So this is some kind of the questions which doesn't even make sense sometime, right? The stakeholders start thinking in that direction and it will may mislead information. So this is not a wise decision to draw everything in a one graph in case you want to show the trend over the time. It's very hard to read the line chart. Okay. So in this scenario, you should separate it. This is a recommendation. Separate for sales and separate for your likes. If you want, you can plot the subplots. Okay. I will show you at the end how you can do the subplots. I have built the complete video on the matplot and seaborn. I will show you the playlist. You can learn the data visualization step by step too. Okay. So here I have, you need to separate it and then show to your stakeholder. Okay. Now, the another mistake usually sometimes students does at a beginner level. They just try to use the parameter and they change the width of the every bin. Okay. Now look at this. There is a like if I am your stakeholder, I'm looking at this graph, what I will assume from this graph, like my D category, right? It has a more importance than the other three, or maybe it contains a like the more data, or maybe let's say we are talking about the sales, right? So my D has a more sales, but there are a more products also this category has. Okay, because I am changing the width of each your labels. It doesn't look nice as well. Number one, it may mislead. Maybe your stakeholders start thinking, what is this? Why this is so thin? Why this is so thick? Right? What is the reason behind it? It is like not the good graph. Okay, this is misleading your stakeholder too. So whenever you want to, I'm not saying you don't add the width of the your bins, but always add the equal width of your each bin, because bin we are showing based on the frequency on the y-axis. Okay, so now look at this. This is the correct one. So just choose the one with your width size for each bin if you want to make it wider. Okay, and you can again sort it if you want to show it in the descending order. I'm showing it in the ascending order. So if you want to show it in the descending order, you can sort the data and then show it. Okay, so there is a no problem. On top of that, this was like the top most common mistakes students does when they are drawing the graph. In my upcoming live session, I will tell you the what is the difference between your line, bar, and histogram, and when you should use the each graph. Okay, according to your data type, which graph you should pick up. Okay, so this is I wanted to share, and I would also like to add some more tips in this. Whenever you are drawing or plotting your graph, most important thing is just try to understand first what you are going to show in your graph. Okay, don't concentrate or don't like just focus on the color scheme, on the beautiful beauty of the graph. This is also important, but the first thing most important is your graph going to show the correct information to your stakeholder or not. Okay, sometimes we just like trying to plot the 3D graphs instead of these simple graphs. We thought it will look more beautiful, but we forgot in that case, like maybe it is not going to give the proper information what we want to convey to our stakeholder. And always add number two, proper titles for the x-axis, for the y-axis, proper title for your graph too. Okay, and if you can add the annotations in this is the big plus point for you. Okay, so the stakeholder can when hover it on the mouse, so they can see it, make it more interactive, like engaging as well, right? I will show you, I have built the way like the video on the your playlist, sorry, data visualization on the plotly. So I will show you here my playlist. So this is the one. We will go to the playlist here. Okay, So this is a playlist of data visualization. Okay. So I have like made the this one Plotly, Seaborn, Matplotlib. So you can just start. I have also built the detailed video on the which graph you should choose for what kind of the your data. But I will also make the separate small videos too. But you can start your visualization by following this playlist. It will be very helpful for you. Okay. Okay, so this was the all about over today's how your what things you should keep in your mind while you are plotting your graph. Okay, and thank you so much. I will see you in the next live session. Keep learning, keep patience with Science Data Science. Thank you.